It was once a Bowling Green 12-point lead, but David, Ball State on a run here, now down just 3.
Well, Cardinals getting out in transition. Franco House with the great look ahead, and this time Taylor Persons getting to the paint, the little pull-up jumper, and a 7-0 run for Ball State. And Joel, I'll come back to Ali fouling out of this game with that technical. Now it all rides on the shoulders of their freshman point guard, Rod Caldwell. Certainly has never been in this situation. Yes, you're surrounded by seniors like Denny and Alsager, but he has to guard Taylor Persons.
He's been dominant for Ball State, 17 points. What do you do here? What does James Whitford draw up? He likes to go to House out of timeouts.
Well, and again, look at Zach Denny force that turnover. Talk about a great read of the out-of-bounds play. That was a set out-of-bounds play, and Zach Denny snuck in there. It was almost as if he'd seen it on film, read it, and forced the turnover.
You know, if you had to take a poll of the 2 most hated players in this league by other teams, how high would Zach Denny and Taylor Persons both be? Sellers has the rebound.
Pretty high. But you know what? Those guys compete. And if they're, like you said, they're on your squad, you love it. I love watching both these guys play big possession for Ball State.
Here's Persons underneath.
And again, look at Denny with the recovery. Here comes the double team, leaving Kiapway.
Pass from Moses got tipped. Bowling Green hanging on right now. Under 3 minutes to go. It has been in this situation before. Non-conference played 7 single-digit games, 4 one-possession games, lost twice at the buzzer, and won once at the buzzer. Not new territory. And they call the charge underneath. The time on the bench for Sellers. Time pays off.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take another look at it. Typically, you want to get your foot on that baseline. Alsager kind of dropped the shoulder. Van Dorian with the call. And now Joel, Cardinals again down 3. The last 2 possessions have ended in a turnover. Last time Moses tried to pass out of the double team, not making Bowling Green pay. Can the Cardinals at least get a shot up in this possession?
Cardinals only have 6 different scorers today. I say only. That number is usually 8 or 9. But Persons has shouldered the load now with 19.
They're going after the freshman Joel. A little pick and roll on the wing. And Taylor Persons all the way to the rim.
It was once a 12-point lead, now 1. And Lillard pumps it back to 3.
Great answer by Lillard. Good strong move. Weber wanted to push off. No call.
Lillard has 17 now, too, for Bowling Green. He averages 9. Kiapway. Maybe got away with one, pushing Denny away. He's free from 3. That's a Ball State basketball. David, how many nights is Ball State going to shoot 4 for 22 from 3? One of the top 50 three-point shooting teams in the nation.
Not very many, and that was a great pick by Trey Moses. You won't find a more wide open look for Kiapway. Just didn't go, but Cards lucky enough to retain possession.
Well, they're going to review this. Dan Dorian and Todd Van Sassen have gone over to the scorer's table. So retaining possession for now, which makes these timeouts interesting because the coaches have to draw up, okay, if we get the ball, this. If we don't get the ball, this.
Well, it really works in Ball State's favor right now because the Cardinals only have 1 timeout left. Bowling Green has 3. This is a huge possession, so James Whitford not having to use that 1 timeout yet can still draw up a play. I'd be shocked if you don't go back to that pick and roll with Taylor Persons and Franco House.
Take another look at the play in question. It's going to be whether or not that hit House's hand would be the point of contention for Bowling Green.
Well, we know who James Whitford thought it went out of.
90 seconds, 93 seconds left here. A lot at stake in a 3-point game. Neither of these teams wanting to fall to 0-2. You know, you're looking at a Ball State team there that won the MAC West last season. Here's another angle.
Boy, that is so tough to call, and it's one of those, Joel, if you don't have enough evidence to overrule, you got to go with what the initial call was, which is Ball State's ball. And I'm not sure if they can slow that down for the officials or not, but it was just really tough to tell.
It's always interesting early in the season, David. You know, we talk about how critical these games are. A couple of years ago, James Whitford had just gotten to Ball State, was trying to turn things around. They started 2-0 and then finished losing 17 straight. Bowling Green last year started 3-1 in conference and then finished as the 12th seed. So it's weird. These games all matter, but sometimes the early couple can be a misnomer. You want the win, but it's not do or die. So there's almost a this is important, but it's not the end of the world situation. But it's still important.
Yeah, tell that to one of these two coaches right now. Particularly James Whitford at home.
Yeah, that's the bigger part.
And it looks like they're going to stay with Ball State's possession.
Well, you said Taylor Persons is the look here?
Well, I mean, they've had success with the pick and roll with Persons going against Caldwell. A lot of times they'll use Franco House in that situation if you help off of Franco. So we'll see.
Starts in the hands of Persons. 19 points. He's turned it on late over the last 5-6 minutes. And a steal. Bowling Green can't corral it.
Well, I guarantee you that's not what they drew up at the timeout. Cardinals very lucky not to turn that ball over. Lillard almost saved it. And again, who was right in the middle of the initial turnover? Zach Denny.
It would have been the 11th steal. This now becomes a baseline inbounds instead of a sideline inbounds. Does that change anything?
Well, it does. You're going to try to run Weber off this.
Backdoor, blocked from the backside by Lillard.
Got the look you wanted. Fake going to the corner and just ducked right to the hoop. Great play by Lillard.
8th block for Bowling Green. They averaged 2.5. A minute left here in Muncie. 3 points for the road team, the lead. Alsager, a block by House.
They're going to say he got all ball, and that ended up going off of Alsager.
Yeah, last touched his forearm. They're going to review this now as well.
I think that's right.
It's either a Ball State basketball or it's a Bowling Green basketball with 2 seconds to shoot.
Boy, it looked like, I mean, certainly the block was clean, and it looked like it ended up hitting back off of Alsager's wrist. So Todd Van Stassen and Dan Dorian going to check this out. Either way, tons of time left here in just a one-possession ball game.
Timeout situation. Ball State has 1 left. You can see at the bottom of the screen, Bowling Green has 3.
And I tell you, Joe, we've talked about it with the use of video now. It really aids a coach like James Whitford in this situation. He had 1 timeout at the 3-minute mark. He's had 2 already and hasn't had to actually use a timeout.
Good look at our game reset there. Points in the paint, rebounds dominated by Ball State. 3-point shooting and free throws. What's given Bowling Green the lead much of the second half. And they'll get a foul on the freshman Caldwell. That's a bonus. Score points while the clock is stopped inside a minute to go.
Freshman mistake there. Definitely don't want to foul and give Ball State the opportunity to score with the clock stopped and foul 24 feet from the basket.
You know, here becomes the interesting thing also. That's the 4th on Caldwell. Persons makes it a 2-point game. Ish Ali has already fouled out. If for some way you can get another foul on Caldwell, Bowling Green could have to win this game with no ball handler in the final 30-40 seconds. And Persons makes it a 1-point game and wants noise.
Well, you got 15-second differential on the shot clock. Cards have the ability to play this possession out.
They're to their feet in Muncie. Wiggins is on the block left. And Lillard with a big bucket over House. 3-point difference. Persons can't hit the curl, but it stays with Ball State off Wiggins.
Look at this move by Lillard. Strong, a little body contact, pushes House off. And Coach Whitford gets a little bit of a break here. He was not going to use that last timeout, but Michael Uger is going to call one, so it allows James Whitford the opportunity to set something up on the end out of bounds.
This becomes a huge point for James Whitford. Do you go for 2? Do you go for 3? You've got time, but James Whitford always says as well, you don't foul your way back into games. You have to turn people over. So you leave it a little bit up to chance.
Well, one of the things you can do is you've got several end out of bounds plays that lead or designed to get you an open 3-point shot. So you can certainly design one of those, and if you get it, take it. You don't have to have a 3, but you can't spend a lot of time if you're going to get a 2. As far as foul shooters go for Bowling Green, Alsager shoots 57%. The freshman Coldwell's at 65. The other 3 guys out there for Bowling Green, pretty good. Denny the best at 85.
They go lob to Persons. Look from Kiapwe's blocked by Denny. 9th block for Bowling Green, and it's the thorn in Ball State's side.
A microcosm of what Denny has done this game, and again, defending the 3 with effort, the high hand, doing it without fouling. What a heady play by the senior. You couldn't teach it any better. Going straight up. And the Ball State Cardinals get a huge break by going out of bounds and retaining possession.
James Whitford burning that last timeout. This time, it's a full timeout as well. I've never been inside James Whitford's head, but I have to imagine he has at least at one point in his life had a dream about Zach Denny, and it was probably not a good one.
Yeah, more like a nightmare. And you know, that just goes to show you the little hustle plays. But if you're Ball State now with 11.4, Joel, still got time if you get a quick 2, but you don't have any timeouts left. So the one thing he's telling his team, if we make a 3 and tie it, do not foul. But if you make a 2, you got to go for the stop. You got to go for the steal and then foul immediately. You cannot afford Bowling Green to waste clock. But typically put it in the hands of Taylor Persons. Will he create?
How about Ish Ali coming out of the huddle? He's fouled out of the game, but still working with DiMaggio Wiggins, trying to make an impact for Bowling Green. Persons has 20 for the Cardinals, 21.
Oftentimes the guy that inbounds it is the most open, but he's guarded by Denny.
Sellers for the tie. Rebounded by Denny. And the Cardinals didn't want to foul. They tried to force the turnover, but Denny, 85%. We'll go to the line.
Well, Joel, they went with the set play, a little scissor screen designed for Sellers to get a 3 off the inbounds. And again, as Bowling Green has done all day, good job contesting the 3, and now it's into the hands of their best free throw shooter at 84%.
If that bucket's not a microcosm for the Ball State offense today. 2-possession game with the Denny make. Ball State 4 of 24 from 3. Top 50 3-point shooting team in the country. 5 the difference. And Denny, far and away, your player of the game.
No question about it. Give him 15.
Weber, last second, it's not going down. And Bowling Green becomes the first team in the MAC to win a conference game on the road this season. Michael Huger's Falcons have taken 9 of 10 against the Ball State Cardinals, a 76-71 win.